What's up, guys? I hope you are doing well. I am super excited to just pop in really quick. This video is going to be a little bit different and a little bit off topic from all the other videos that I normally make on here. I was recently invited to go to Paris, and it was a fully funded trip for 8 days, which I am so incredibly just appreciative of. It was such an amazing experience, and I went without my husband and my son, so I was solo for the first time in a while, and it was just an amazing time of just taking in the culture and the space and the architecture and the food and just all that goodness that just fills up your soul. Today we are just appreciating the beauty of France and in particular Paris. So I did a little bit of vlogging, so this is not really going to be a super cohesive video. I didn't vlog every day. There were some places that I vlogged at, primarily museums, walking through a couple of neighborhoods, and when I went to Versailles. So I thought that it would just be fun to put a little video together and just share some of those moments. I recorded them, so I figured I might as well put them out there and let them have some life. Um, so yeah, that's all this video is going to be today. Without further ado, I don't think I have any more ramblings right now, so let's just go ahead and get into this Paris vlog, because as we all know, there's always more to the story than the outfit. So we're starting off at Versailles, and I have to say I am so shocked that I willingly booked a ticket to come here on a Thursday at noon. It was raining, it was windy, and it was so cold, so the gardens were closed, but otherwise I had a really great time. I am someone that absolutely hates large crowds, and so I rarely go to places that a lot of tourists go to, but I could not pass up Versailles. I actually studied French in middle school and high school for a consecutive 7 years, so I'm actually pretty well versed in French history, and specifically just thinking about Versailles and the time that was sort of taking place in France, which I feel like mirrors a lot of what's happening in America right now. So it was pretty wild for me to be here after studying it for so long, and I just am so glad that I decided to do this. I almost backed out, and I'm really glad that I didn't. I wish I could stress how much I spent my time looking up. This is something that is a constant throughout all of the spaces that I'm going to be showing you in this video, but this is just a little detail I tried to zoom in on, but I mean, it's just beautiful. So I forgot to switch to the low light setting on my camera, so the video is a little fuzzy, so I'm just going to include some images that I took of some of the bedrooms. This is the king's bedroom, and you can just see just how much just excess of just wealth just dripping from every corner of the space. I mean, it's absolutely stunning and also terrifying, thinking about the social state of the country at that point in time. I also went into Marie Antoinette's bedroom, which was beautiful, gorgeous. She didn't spend as much time here, but I still think it's amazing to see. So there were just so many moments where I just was really taking in the breadth of how massive this space was, how decadent it was, and just the scale it was a lot to really sit with. Now this is the Hall of Mirrors, and I actually did a project on this space in undergrad, so I was very, very excited to see it. I really did not know when I was going to be able to see this space in person, but I mean, I will say I thought that the mirrors would be the highlight, but my goodness, look at this ceiling. I mean, I just walked through the entire space just in awe of the ceilings. Oh my goodness, stunning. Overall, I had an amazing time walking through here. It definitely was crowded, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. It only took me about 5 minutes of waiting in line, and I did buy timed tickets for timed entry, so that was really helpful, so I recommend that. Next up, we are going to go to an art show. So I was really excited to see this. This is at the Pinot collection, and the building is, I'm going to put it on the screen. I don't want to butcher it in French, so I'm just going to put it on the screen. But another space that is just absolutely stunning. Now, this work, I had been seeing a lot of images online, and so I was so excited to come and see it in person. And this was a show titled Minimal, so I absolutely loved being able to walk through this exhibition. It was beautiful, and you can see that this piece here, it's sort of constructed out of flora and fauna, and it's real, so you can actually smell the plants and those fruits sort of decaying, and it's a really nice sort of earthy, fruity, but floral smell. I don't know how to describe it, but it reminded me of walking through the woods as a child, so I don't know, it was successful in that regard. There was also a massive wax structure, which I just thought was really beautiful in terms of the color, and it was honestly just great to be able to see work at this scale in a space like this. It just commands that sort of breadth, and you can see this detail shot here. And then I went downstairs, and there was another exhibition that was happening. I actually think it was a part of the same exhibition, but this was by other artists, and this was a lot of neon lights. I'll be honest, I don't find neon art as interesting as I could. I have worked with neons before and included it in my practice, but yeah, if I don't find something compelling, if it just doesn't like tickle my senses, like I don't have the brain power to really focus on it. And, maybe that's my attention deficit disorder, but, I thought I'd include it anyway. I did, however, love this exhibition. I cannot remember the artist's name off the top of my head, so I'll put it on the screen. But these were either gold or brass wires that were reflecting the spotlights, and it was just gorgeous. I went back upstairs to go to the top level, and so I was able to peer down at the initial exhibition that you see when you walk through, so it was really nice to get a different vantage point, and this was the perspective that I had seen shared online quite a bit, so I was very excited to sort of take this in. And again, just the detail and the storytelling and the narratives unfolding across the ceiling and the way it's interacting with the shadows and the light. I was just in awe. It's just so beautiful. And growing up, not in DC, but DC adjacent in Baltimore, and my mom working in DC and, grandparents working in DC, DC feels like a different home, and so it was very nice to be in a space where I could start to see the influence of Paris and its impact on DC. Then I went on a walk through a fun neighborhood. I'm not going to butcher the name, so I'm just going to put it on here. Though I can speak a bit of French, my pronunciation since getting back to the States has been really terrible, so I'm not even going to butcher it. But this is the neighborhood that has been seen in Amélie. It's also home to the Basilica, where you can get beautiful views of Paris, and I honestly stumbled across this by accident, and then I really liked the vibes, so I decided to intentionally come back, and I'd researched that you could go through this basilica, which you see in front, and you could actually get views of the city. I didn't know what that entailed, so we'll get to that in a bit, but it was absolutely beautiful, and there was something about the way the clouds were rolling in that was just so seductive, so I just stood here taking in the structure for quite a bit. So I only ended up having to wait in line for about 15 minutes, which I don't think was too bad. And you can see just how many people are here. This was a big tourist attraction, which I didn't expect for some reason, but it actually wasn't too bad, the crowds. I went inside the Basilica, which was just absolutely beautiful, and I ended up sitting in on the sermon that was happening. So it was about 30 minutes that I stayed for the sermon, and I was able to understand a majority of it with my broken French, so it was very nice to sit there and take in the service and just listen to the ways that the sound amplified and just take in the light. And then I decided to go for the main attraction, which is going up the 292 steps to the top of the tower. So this is where you can actually get 360 views of Paris, which I think that's all I focused on, and I really did not contemplate too deeply the fact that I would be in this narrow tower walking up 300 stairs with nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, if you can see how narrow it is, and imagine the intense wind pummeling against this tower. Guys, I really did not realize that I had such an intense fear of heights until I was halfway up, and there was no way to get back down other than to continue going up. But the views were magical, and wow. Pretty incredible, though I think I'm scared of heights, which I'm sort of sitting with as I tackle this, but this is incredible. Actually being able to walk through the Basilica and between the different structures that compose the entirety of the space, it was wild and very scary, but very beautiful. So this is the view from the top, and it was so stunning. I actually had a little bit of a panic attack in the tower, and I also realized I don't like small spaces. I knew this, but I haven't been in a small space with no way to get out quickly. So I was sort of freaking out. So to get outside and take in just the views and the city and the sky and the architecture, I mean, it was so worth it. And it was not too crowded up top. So that was really nice to be able to have some good space to walk around and take in the views. So I continued walking down. That's the only way to go. It was much easier walking down than it was walking up because your girl was out of breath. But when I finally got back out, I decided to walk around the neighborhood some more. I ended up getting a crepe because I was starving at this point, and I went into this soap shop, which was Guys, it smelled absolutely amazing. I brought back some soaps, which I will be stocking at the shop, so I was really excited to pick some of that out. But it was very nice to just walk around, and I would say that this is the area besides Versailles where I encountered the most tourists, so it was a little bit overwhelming, but nothing unmanageable. I also ended up stopping for about 20 minutes to get my portrait drawn. I almost never do this, but I said, when in Paris, you know? I did not have anyone else with me, so I had the time. It looked nothing like me, but hey, it's a keepsake, and I appreciate the effort. So I did a bit more walking around. This was the last day that I was in Paris. It was extremely windy, so it was a little overwhelming to be walking around through the hills, but I really did enjoy it. I checked out some more boutiques. I love the clothing scene in Paris, and that was about it, guys. So I'm going to wrap up this vlog. Hopefully you liked it. I know this isn't a super exciting or exhilarating vlog style, but I really was not too focused on capturing too much footage, so this is what I've got for you. All in all, I had an amazing time. I feel so grateful for being able to have this experience, and if anyone is interested in just exactly how and why this was a funded trip, I can talk more about that and my art career and all the places it takes me. So thanks for watching, guys.